Welcome, my friends. Welcome to this moment. And welcome to this space where we slow down and talk honestly. This is not just another vlog. And this is not just another video playing in the background. This is a place where you come to understand life a little better and understand yourself a little deeper. Here, you don't need to pretend you have everything figured out. You don't need to act strong or successful or perfect. You just need to listen, reflect, and take what speaks to you. Because sometimes one thought, one idea, or one story can change the direction of your life. Today, you will learn something important. Not about money, not about fame, but about purpose, patience, and inner strength. You will hear things that may feel uncomfortable at first, but those are often the truths that help us grow. Stay with me, because this message is not rushed, and it is not shallow. Most people don't fail because they are not capable. They fail because they slowly stop believing in themselves. Life doesn't destroy dreams in one big moment. It does it quietly, through pressure, expectations, and daily responsibilities. At some point, many people start living on autopilot. They wake up, do what is required, and go to sleep again. Days pass, months pass, and suddenly years pass. And one day, they ask themselves a dangerous question: is this really the life I wanted? That question doesn't come from weakness, it comes from awareness. It comes from a part of you that still wants more meaning, more direction, and more truth. But many people ignore that voice because listening to it means change, and change feels risky. We are taught to be realistic. We are taught to be practical. And slowly, we confuse realism with fear. We start telling ourselves that dreams are childish, that ambition is dangerous, and that stability is more important than fulfillment. But deep inside, something feels off. You may have everything you were told to want, and still feel empty. You may be doing fine on the outside while feeling lost on the inside. That confusion is more common than people admit. Life applies pressure in small ways. A delay here, a rejection there, a comparison that makes you doubt yourself. None of these things seem big alone, but together they slowly shape how you see yourself. You start questioning your timing. You start questioning your ability. You start questioning whether you are good enough. And the worst part is that you do all of this silently, without asking for help. People around you may say, "Be grateful, or at least you have something." And yes, gratitude is important. But gratitude should not silence your desire to grow. Wanting more from life does not mean you are ungrateful. It means you are alive. Many people carry dreams they never talk about anymore. Not because they don't care, but because they are tired of explaining. They are tired of being judged. They are tired of hearing why something won't work. They keep those dreams locked away. Over time, those dreams don't disappear. They turn into regret. Regret is a quiet pain. It doesn't scream, but it stays. It follows you into quiet moments, late nights, and empty conversations. And one day, you realize that you are not afraid of failing anymore. You are afraid of staying the same forever. That realization changes something, not outside, but inside. You start seeing your life differently. You notice how many people are busy but not fulfilled, how many are successful but not peaceful, how many are surviving instead of truly living. You begin to understand that no one is coming to rescue you. No perfect time is coming. No magical opportunity will knock on your door and fix everything. Life is already happening, and it won't wait. This truth can feel heavy at first, but it is also freeing. Because if no one is coming, then responsibility becomes power. You realize that even small changes matter. You don't suddenly become confident or fearless. You simply start doing small things differently. You choose to show up even when motivation is missing. You choose progress over perfection. Some days feel good, some days feel pointless. But you keep going anyway. And that is where real strength is built. People don't talk enough about this phase. The phase where nothing is exciting yet, but you refuse to quit. The phase where effort is high and results are invisible. This is where most people give up, not because they are weak, but because they are tired. But if you stay, something shifts, slowly, quietly. You begin to trust yourself again. Not because everything is working, but because you are still standing. You realize that confidence does not come from winning, it comes from continuing. Failure stops being the enemy, comfort becomes the enemy. Staying stuck becomes scarier than trying again. You start learning lessons life was trying to teach you all along. That discipline matters more than motivation. That patience beats speed. That consistency creates confidence. You understand that growth is not loud. It does not announce itself. It happens when you choose effort over excuses, again and again. There will still be doubts. There will still be days when you question everything. But now, those doubts no longer control you. You move forward even with uncertainty. And then, one day, something small but powerful happens. You feel calm, not excited, not proud, just calm. You no longer hate the life you are building. That moment matters more than applause. It means you are aligned with yourself. This is not the end of the message. This is the foundation. What comes next will go deeper, challenge you more, and push you to see life differently. For now, remember this: you are not late. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. As you move forward, you start noticing something interesting. The world around you hasn't changed much, but you have. The same problems exist, the same pressures are there, yet you react differently now. You begin to understand that life is not about removing all struggles. It is about becoming strong enough to carry them without losing yourself. That realization alone can shift how you walk through each day. There are moments when old doubts return. They show up quietly, usually when you are tired or alone. They remind you of past failures and try to convince you that nothing has really changed. But this time, you don't panic. You listen, and then you let those thoughts pass. You've learned that thoughts are not commands. They are just visitors. You start seeing how much of your life was shaped by fear. Fear of judgment, fear of disappointment, fear of choosing the wrong path. For a long time, fear made decisions for you. Now, you pause before reacting. You ask yourself simple questions. Is this fear talking, or is this truth? That pause creates space, and in that space, you find control. Life still tests you. Responsibilities still pile up. Some days feel heavy again. The difference is, you no longer see these moments as signs to quit. You see them as part of the process. You realize that consistency is not about feeling good every day. It is about showing up even on days that feel pointless. Especially on those days, people around you may not notice your growth. Some may even doubt you more as you change. Not everyone is comfortable when you stop playing the role they expect from you. That can hurt, but it also teaches you an important lesson. You are not here to live a life that makes everyone else comfortable. You are here to live a life that feels honest to you. Slowly, your priorities shift. You stop chasing quick results. You stop needing constant validation. You focus more on effort than outcome. This doesn't make life perfect. It makes it real. You begin to value quiet progress, small improvements that only you notice. Better habits, clearer thinking, stronger boundaries. Boundaries become important now. You learn that saying no is not selfish. Protecting your time and energy is not weakness. It is wisdom. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Peace becomes more valuable than being right. There are moments when loneliness shows up. Growth can feel lonely because not everyone is walking in the same direction. But you learn that being alone is not the same as being lost. In fact, solitude teaches you more about yourself than noise ever could. In silence, you hear your real thoughts. In stillness, you understand your real desires. You start trusting your inner voice again. Not blindly, but thoughtfully. You reflect more. You react less. Life feels slower, but deeper. You notice how much energy you wasted before trying to control things you couldn't. Now, you focus on what you can control. Your actions, your attitude, your effort. This shift gives you a sense of stability that no external success ever did. There are still setbacks. Some plans don't work. Some opportunities don't come through. But now, disappointment doesn't destroy you. It informs you. You learn from mistakes instead of judging yourself for them. You ask, what can this teach me? Instead of what's wrong with me. That question changes everything. Over time, you become more patient with yourself. You stop expecting instant results. You stop measuring your life by other people's highlights. You understand that real growth takes time. Roots grow underground before anything is visible above the surface. This is the phase most people quit, because it feels slow and unrewarding. But this is also the phase where character is built. You begin to feel stronger in quiet ways. You handle stress better. You recover faster from setbacks. You don't spiral like you used to. That's progress. You also start noticing how your mindset affects your reality. When you approach challenges calmly, they feel lighter. When you stop assuming the worst, solutions appear faster. Life becomes less about fighting and more about navigating. You don't feel successful yet, but you feel capable, and that feeling is powerful. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone trying to become something, but as someone already becoming. That subtle change shifts your confidence. You speak with more intention. You listen more carefully. You move with purpose, even when you're unsure. And here's the interesting part. Opportunities begin to show up differently. Not magically, but naturally. People notice your calm, your consistency, your clarity. Some doors open, some don't. But now, rejection doesn't feel personal. It feels directional. You understand that not every opportunity is meant for you, and that's okay. You are building something deeper than success. You are building resilience. You are building self-trust. This is the phase where life starts testing your patience instead of your courage. It asks, can you keep going without applause? Can you stay disciplined without excitement? Those questions are harder than they sound, but you keep going. Because now you know what's on the other side of quitting, and you don't want to go back there. You are no longer chasing motivation. You are committed. That commitment changes how you see the future. It no longer feels scary. It feels open. You don't know exactly where you'll end up, but you trust that you'll handle whatever comes. That trust is earned through effort, through failure, through staying when leaving was easier. This journey is still unfolding. What comes next will challenge your values, your patience, and your understanding of success even more. But for now, remember this. Growth is happening even when it's quiet. You are moving forward even when it feels slow. And this path you're walking, it's shaping you for what's coming next. As time passes, you start noticing a deeper shift. It's not just about habits anymore. It's about how you see yourself when no one is watching. The inner dialogue changes, slowly but clearly. Before, your mind was full of noise, doubts, worries, and what-ifs fighting for attention. Now, the noise hasn't disappeared, but it no longer controls you the same way. You understand that thoughts come and go. Feelings rise and fall. But you are not your thoughts, and you are not your feelings. You are the one observing them. That understanding brings a new kind of strength, not loud confidence, quiet stability. Life still throws challenges your way, unexpected problems, delays that test your patience, situations that remind you of old fears. But now, you don't collapse under them. You pause, you breathe, you respond instead of reacting. This doesn't mean you always make the right decision. It means you make conscious decisions, and that changes everything. You start seeing patterns in your life, patterns of self-sabotage you once ignored, patterns of overthinking, patterns of avoiding discomfort. Seeing these patterns is uncomfortable, but awareness is the first step toward freedom. You realize that growth often feels like loss. You outgrow certain habits. You outgrow certain conversations. Sometimes, you outgrow certain people. That part hurts more than you expected. Not everyone will understand the changes you're making. Some will feel threatened. Some will feel left behind. Some will try to pull you back into the version of you they are familiar with. You learn that growth requires courage, not just effort. The courage to disappoint others. The courage to stand alone. The courage to choose long-term peace over short-term comfort. Loneliness may visit again. But this time, it feels different. It feels purposeful. You start enjoying your own company more. You reflect. You journal. You think deeply. You ask hard questions and don't rush the answers. You understand that clarity is built, not found. There are moments when you feel stuck again. When progress feels slow, when nothing exciting is happening. These moments test your patience more than your ability. You learn that not every season is about growth. Some seasons are about maintenance, about holding steady, about not giving up ground. This is where discipline becomes essential. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. You don't wait to feel inspired anymore. You act because you committed to yourself. That commitment becomes your anchor. You also start redefining success. It's no longer just about achievements or recognition. It's about alignment, about sleeping peacefully, about waking up without dread. You realize that a calm mind is a form of wealth. Emotional control is a form of power. You stop chasing every opportunity. You become selective. You understand that saying yes to everything means saying no to yourself. This maturity changes how others interact with you. Some respect it, some don't like it. Both reactions are fine. You begin to trust timing more, not in a passive way, but in a patient way. You do your part and let the rest unfold. This trust reduces anxiety. You no longer feel like you're racing against life. You feel like you're walking with it. Mistakes still happen. You still misjudge situations. You still have moments of doubt, but now you recover faster. You don't stay down as long. You don't spiral as deeply. You remind yourself of how far you've already come. That reminder matters. You understand now that confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite fear. You become more compassionate with yourself. You stop punishing yourself for past decisions. You accept that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. That acceptance is freeing. As you heal internally, you notice your reactions changing externally. You don't argue as much. You don't defend yourself unnecessarily. You don't need to prove your worth. You know it. You start focusing more on process than outcome. You fall in love with improvement, not perfection. You appreciate effort, even when results are delayed. This mindset keeps you grounded. There is still uncertainty ahead. Life doesn't give guarantees. But uncertainty no longer scares you like before. It feels like possibility instead of threat. You understand that no path is completely safe. Staying stuck has risks too. You begin to choose growth even when it feels uncomfortable. You lean into challenges instead of avoiding them. That's when you notice something powerful. You are no longer asking, "Can I do this?" You are asking, "What's the best way to do this?" That shift shows how far you've come. People may start coming to you for advice. They notice your calm, your perspective, your steadiness. You don't have all the answers, but you listen well. You speak from experience, not theory. You realize that your struggles were never wasted. They shaped your understanding. They gave you empathy. They gave your words weight. This journey is changing you at a deeper level now. It's not just about building a better life. It's about becoming a better version of yourself. A more aware version. A more grounded version. A more intentional version. And still, the journey isn't over. What comes next will challenge how you define happiness, success, and fulfillment even further. It will ask you to let go of things you once chased. But for now, understand this. You are no longer the person who started this journey. You are stronger, wiser, and more self-aware, even if no one else sees it yet. And that matters more than you think. At this stage of the journey, something important becomes clear. You are no longer just trying to improve your life. You are learning how to live it with intention. That difference may sound small, but it changes everything. You begin to notice how much of your past stress came from fighting reality. Wanting things to be different, wanting people to change, wanting life to follow a certain plan. Now, you still have goals, but you no longer fight every moment that doesn't match them. Acceptance enters quietly, not surrender, but understanding. You accept that some things take time, that some answers don't come immediately, that not every effort brings instant results. This acceptance doesn't make you weak. It makes you steady. You start choosing peace more often, not because you don't care, but because you care enough to protect your energy. You understand now that energy is limited, and where you spend it matters. You stop engaging in unnecessary drama. You stop reacting to every comment. You stop explaining yourself to people who already decided what they think of you. This feels strange at first. Silence can feel uncomfortable when you're used to defending yourself. But soon, you realize how much lighter life feels without constant emotional battles. You also become more honest with yourself. You stop lying about what drains you and what fulfills you. You stop forcing yourself into situations that don't align with who you are becoming. This honesty is not always easy. It requires letting go of certain expectations. Sometimes it requires disappointing people. But each honest choice strengthens your self-respect. You start noticing how your definition of success has changed. Before, success felt external. Titles, money, recognition. Now, success feels internal. Peace of mind, healthy routines, meaningful progress. You still want to achieve things. You still want to grow. But you no longer want success that costs your mental health or your values. This shift makes your goals clearer. You choose quality over quantity, depth over speed. You also begin to appreciate patience in a new way. Patience is no longer waiting passively. It is working consistently without anxiety. Doing what you can today and trusting tomorrow to unfold. This patience calms your mind. You stop feeling like you're running out of time. You understand that growth is not linear. Some days move fast. Some days barely move at all. Both are part of the journey. Both are part of the journey. You also learn to sit with discomfort. Instead of escaping it, you observe it. You ask what it's trying to teach you. Discomfort often points to growth, even when it feels unpleasant. This skill changes how you face challenges. You no longer avoid hard conversations. You no longer delay difficult decisions. You face them with clarity and calm. You realize that courage is not loud, it's quiet. It's choosing what's right even when no one is watching. It's staying true to yourself even when it's inconvenient. Your confidence deepens. It doesn't depend on praise. It doesn't disappear with criticism. It comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. You also become more compassionate toward others. You understand that everyone is fighting something you cannot see. This doesn't mean you accept bad behavior, but it helps you respond with maturity instead of anger. Your relationships change. Some grow stronger. Some fade naturally. You no longer force connections that no longer fit your life. This can feel bittersweet, but you understand that growth sometimes means letting go, not because something is wrong, but because something has changed. You trust yourself enough now to walk forward without needing constant reassurance. You still value guidance, but you don't depend on approval. That independence feels empowering. There are moments when fear still appears. New levels bring new challenges. New responsibilities bring new pressure. But fear no longer controls your decisions. You acknowledge it. You respect it. Then you move forward anyway. You also learn to rest without guilt. You understand that rest is not laziness. It is recovery. It is preparation. It is necessary for long-term growth. This balance between effort and rest keeps you grounded. You reflect more on your journey so far. You see how far you've come. Not just in achievements, but in mindset, in emotional strength, in self-awareness. You realize that the hardest battles you fought were internal, and you survived them. That realization builds quiet pride. You don't feel the need to rush to the finish line anymore. You are learning to appreciate the process, the lessons, the small wins. Life feels more meaningful now, not because it's perfect, but because you are present. And still, there is one more layer to this journey, one more realization waiting. Something that will tie everything together and give this path deeper meaning. That comes next. By now, you may notice something different about the way you see your life. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it's real. You are no longer waiting for life to start. You are already living it. You understand that happiness is not a destination you arrive at one day. It is something you practice daily, through choices, through mindset, through how you respond to what happens around you. You stop asking, "When will I finally be happy?" and start asking, "How can I live today honestly?" That question changes the weight you carry. Life still brings uncertainty. Plans still shift. People still disappoint you sometimes. But these things no longer shake your foundation. They are events, not identities. You have learned that you are not defined by what happens to you. You are defined by how you move through it. This understanding brings a quiet confidence. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to prove it. It shows in how you speak, how you listen, and how you handle pressure. You are more present now. When you work with focus. When you rest without guilt. When you connect with people, you listen more deeply. Presence becomes one of your greatest strengths. You also notice that you're worrying less about being understood by everyone. You understand that not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Some people are only meant to witness a part of it, and that's okay. You stop trying to convince others of your worth. You let your actions speak over time. You trust that the right people will recognize your growth without explanation. You begin to see your past differently. The mistakes no longer feel like failures. They feel like lessons that shaped your awareness. The pain no longer feels pointless. It feels meaningful. You wouldn't wish those struggles on anyone, but you also wouldn't erase them. They made you who you are. This perspective brings peace. You realize that strength is not about never falling. It's about learning how to get back up without losing yourself. It's about choosing integrity even when shortcuts look tempting. You become more intentional with your future. Not obsessive, not anxious, just clear. You know what matters to you now. You value growth over comfort, purpose over approval, depth over speed. This clarity helps you say no more often. No to distractions. No to toxic cycles. No to things that drain you without giving anything back. Each no creates space for a better yes. You still have dreams. You still have goals. But they are no longer fueled by fear or comparison. They are fueled by curiosity and meaning. You are not trying to prove anything anymore. You are building something that feels right to you. That shift makes the journey lighter. There are still moments when doubt visits, but now doubt doesn't stay long. You acknowledge it, then remind yourself of your resilience. You remember how many times you kept going when quitting felt easier. That memory grounds you. You also become more patient with others. You understand that everyone is on their own timeline. You stop judging where people are. You focus on walking your own path well. This compassion extends to yourself too. You forgive yourself faster. You speak to yourself more kindly. You understand that progress is not perfect. You learn to celebrate small wins, a calm reaction, a healthy boundary. A day you showed up despite feeling tired. These moments matter more than they seem. They are proof that you are changing from the inside. You start to feel grateful in a deeper way, not just for good things, but for growth, for lessons, for resilience, for awareness. Gratitude becomes grounding, not forced. You understand now that life will never be completely predictable. And that's not a flaw. That's what makes it alive. You stop trying to control everything. You focus on effort, intention, and integrity. You trust that the rest will unfold as it should. This trust does not make you passive. It makes you calm. You act with purpose, but without panic. You plan, but without obsession. You dream, but without pressure. This balance feels new and freeing. You realize that the journey never truly ends. There will always be new challenges, new goals, new lessons. Growth is ongoing, but now you feel ready. Not because you have all the answers, but because you trust yourself to handle the questions. That trust is powerful. If someone listening to this feels lost, unsure, or tired, let this be the reminder. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to keep moving honestly. One step at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. Your story is still unfolding. Your potential is still expanding. And your presence in this moment matters more than you know. Keep going, keep growing, and keep choosing yourself even when it's hard. And if this journey spoke to you, stay with us, subscribe, and let's keep walking forward together.